everyone, welcome back. So what we've done so far is we've cut all the small interior walls. We've cut the exterior walls, or we modeled them and we cut the joints into them. We have our two bases, our upper base and our lower base, and they're all cut in as well. Some things that we haven't done yet is we haven't cut in the holes for our interior walls that hit our exterior walls. So you can see, like right here, this piece does not have any holes cut right there and there. I can see the holes are cut here, but not there. So we need to cut those holes, and we need to cut all the holes in our base. So if I take away one of these walls, there's no holes in our base, our upper base, to have those walls sit in there. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to cut those couple things, and then we're also going to just cut a little hole over here on the side to allow us to get the marble out once it falls through every once in a while. And this hole is actually optional because you can just turn the maze all the way upside down and run it around until the marble falls out one of the holes that are there already. But I think I'm going to put a little hole in mine just to make it a little easier. Okay. So, and we need to cut all the holes in the base. So we're going to try and get as much done as we can. I'm going to limit this to about a 15-minute video. So let's get started. Okay, first things first, let's cut the holes in the side walls. Anywhere you have one of your interior walls hitting a side wall, you need to cut a hole to allow the tabs in. I didn't do this, so make sure all your walls are turned on. I didn't do this before when I was when I made my first one. So once I printed it out, there were no holes here to stick these in. So I had to take this piece right here and sand it on the end until I sanded off those two tabs and then went flat against there. And now it's not very strong because now it's just kind of, it can wobble there. I glued it, but it's just not a very good joint. So let's make sure we get those done. I'm gonna do the combine tool. I'm gonna say, hey, I wanna cut this outside and I wanna cut it with that piece. I'm gonna keep the tool, do a cut, everything looks okay there. I'm gonna do the same thing because I have an interior wall hitting here. So I'm gonna cut the exterior wall. I'm gonna use this as my tool to cut with. And I'm going to say, okay. So now those two are cut in. You can see as I zoom in, the difference now is that those have those gray little gray outlines. So that tells you that they're cut through. Okay. So now we need to cut the holes in our bottom piece, and it's super easy. Check out how easy it is. I'm going to hit combine. I'm going to click on the target body. So I'm going to cut holes in the upper base. I'm going to click on it. And that's the upper base here. And watch this, I can even do it this way. So I'm actually cancel out of this. I'm gonna hit the combine tool. And I know I want my upper base to be the thing I cut. I don't have to click on it. I can click on this name over here. And then the things that I want to cut with, well, it's all these little interior walls. So I'm just gonna click on them. Instead of trying to click in the model and move it around and do all that, I can just click on all of these. And then I'm just gonna click OK. And now I can see if I do a move command and I grab the base, the upper base, I can move it up, and you can see now we have all the little holes cut for the all the walls. So I'm going to hit cancel, move that back to where it was, go back to home, and that's a lot of our stuff done. So we just cut a whole bunch of joints, super fast and easy. So next things next. Let's what else do we need to do? Oh, we need to put holes. This wouldn't be a very fun marble maze if you could just roll right through it. So you're going to need your planning sheet. And I think mine, look at the top here. Yeah, and mine goes this way. So I have mine all set up and ready to go. And now we need to start positioning our holes. So what's the best way to do this? That's a great question. Yep, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to project, because right now, I can't grab on. See, I can only grab on where the slots are to do measurements with. So what I want to do is I want to project all these faces of the walls down onto the base. So to start with, I'm going to click here and I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to make a sketch of this on the base of on the upper base. And then I'm going to go over here to the project command. Project. And I'm going to project, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to choose every interior wall. Nope, can't do it that way. I was trying to be lazy. I'm going to project all of these interior walls onto the floor. There. And I want to just wait until I get the actual rectangle of the upper part of the wall, because I just need to know where the walls are. I don't need all the little tabs written in there as well. There we go. It can be a bit of a pain. Zooming in helps. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to check two things real quick. I'm going to make sure that all my walls have been highlighted and that all my walls are turned on over here, because if one of them's off, I won't be able to get a projection on it. I'm going to click OK. And once it draws those projections, now I can go ahead and hide all the walls because I know where they are. I don't need to have the actual three-dimensional wall in place. Okay, so there's my walls. I have, oh, I'm going to turn the base back on. Sorry. Upper base I'm going to learn on. I am going to turn the lower base on. That way I'm not accidentally clicking on something when I click into a hole. I'm going to place my first hole. So my first hole happens right after the start. So my start's here. My first hole is in this corner. So I'm going to just come here and I'm just going to draw a circle. I'm going to type in hole, enter, and enter. Remember, we made a parameter for a 1.5 centimeter hole diameter. I'm going to push enter. Okay, now it's drawn it for me. Now I need to position it. So the hole is 1.5 centimeters across, which means it's 0.75, 1.5 divided by 2, 0.75 in radius, so from the center out. And that's how we're going to dimension this, from the middle of the circle out. So if I do it as 0.75 centimeters from here to this wall, it's going to actually be under the wall a little bit because the laser has an extra, it cuts a little kerf, a little chunk is burned out. So it ends up being a little bit bigger than 1.5. So what I want to do is I want to dimension this a distance of 0.8 from a wall. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to hit the D for dimensioning tool. I'm going to click here and this front side of the wall, and I'm going to call this 0.8. It's going to move it over. Now I'm going to dimension from this one to this one, and I'm going to call that 0.8. Whoops, except it didn't work. 0.8, enter. Failed to solve. It thinks there's an extra restraint in there. Did I put 2 in there? Nope. Here to here. 0.8. So when in doubt, when things start going badly, just Control Z until you get back. Now it's blue again. So that's good. That means it can be moved. I'm going to actually grab it and try and move it real quick. Uh-oh. Maybe it can't be moved. All right, so let me try and dimension it again. It should be able to be dimensioned at this point. It is not showing any love. I'm going to Control Z a couple different times. I'm going to keep going back. And I want to just see, so I got rid of all my dimensions. I'm just going to see if it can be moved around. All right, so it can be moved freely now. So let me try this again. So I'm going to dimension it here to here. And that should be 0.8. Then I'm going to dimension it from this one to this one. And that should be 0.8. Okay, it worked that time for whatever reason. So now notice that this is really close to that wall. And it's going to just, this hole is going to just kiss this wall. The laser is going to actually burn a little bit of wood on the outside away as well. So it's going to just barely kiss that wall. If you want it a little farther away, you can. The problem is your marble needs, like it rolls in the middle of the marble. So it needs some wood to be able to get around this hole. Like if I put this hole in the middle here, it would be just almost, it would be impossible to get the marble around. And that's not a very fun maze. So just be careful. You can afford to go, so the width of the hallway or the path is 2.5 centimeters. You need at least 0.75 centimeters for the marble to roll on. I mean, you need more than that. You need like 0.8 or 0.9, right? So you can afford to have 1.5. So if you do a hole where you take 1.5 of that 2.5 hallway, you take the 1.5 away with a hole, you have 1 centimeter left over for the marble to roll on. It needs at least 0.8 or 0.9. So maybe I could do a difference here of maybe a 0.9 at the most, but the marble's going to just barely make it without falling in the hole. My advice is to do the 0.8s whenever you position a hole. All right, next one. And here's another thing we don't want to do, is I don't want to put a marble right in the or a hole right in the middle. Because when the marble comes through here, the center of the marble that it's rolling on is like this far from the wall. The center's going to hit this hole and then slop it into the hole. Same thing on this side. The center of the hole, the marble is going to hit this opening and fall in this way. So you can't put one in the middle of a single wide one. If you have a double wide or a triple wide, you can put them all over the place. But know that you need a little bit of space to be able to roll the marble on. Okay, so I'm going to delete that one. And I'm just going to, now what I'm going to do is just start making circles. Is there anything else I want to talk about? No. So that's how you dimension them into a corner. If I'm going to do one against a wall, like right here, I want one in the wall centered on this thing. So what I can do here is I want to center, let's see. So I'm going to grab a construction line. And I am going to just draw a line anywhere in the middle of here, anywhere, straight up and down. Click there. And then what I'm going to do, escape out of the construction line. I'm going to do a center point tool. I'm going to say take the center of this line and match it with the center of this wall right there. And now I'll put them right in the middle. So now I can line my circle up in the center. I can put it on this line somewhere. So I'm going to take my circle. I'm going to put it on that line. I'm going to turn the construction line off. I'm going to call this hole. And right there, and I'm going to hit enter. Notice it's still going to be blue because I haven't told it how high up or down to go. Then I'm going to dimension it. I'm going to go from this wall to this wall. And I'm going to call that 0.8. Enter. And now that one's ready to go. So that one is exactly in the middle of this wall. I just did that using the middle tool. You can use all kinds of alignment tools and mess around with stuff to get it right, get everything right where you want it. And so from there, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to keep doing all my circles all the way over this whole thing in this one sketch. And at the end, I'm going to extrude them all out in one extrusion. And then at that point, actually before I let you go and let you just go do that work, let's cut the extrusion into the side, so we can get the marble out of the underneath part. So what I'm going to do here is, oh, I can't do that right now because I have my sketch going. Well, yeah, I can. No, I don't want you to do that. We'll do the hole in the side in the next video. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and finish mine up. You should take off and work on yours, putting all your circles in, dimensioning and messing around with things, getting things right where you want them. Extrude all your circles. And then this video, the next thing, which is cutting a hole in the side, we'll actually do that in the next video. So you're done watching this if you're putting your holes in. If you want to follow along and make the same maze I'm making, then at this point, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it anymore. So what I want you to do, I'm going to end the video here. And what I want you to do is I want you to put in holes, even if you're using my maze template. Go ahead and just put in holes where you want the holes to be. My finish, so you know, on this maze, it was supposed to come around all of this, in through here somewhere. And then through and through here, here. And then my finish was down in this corner. So you can just kind of imagine, like I was going to have a bunch of holes here and force people around. So just decide now how you want this to be, and then all good. So have a great one, everybody. Thanks for doing this with me. And I'm really looking forward to the next one, which in the next video, we'll cut the hole and then lay everything flat so we can take it to Inkscape and start decorating it. I can't wait to see these things get cut out. All right.